times I really feel bad for the men, you know. Reason being, they really run out of excuses. You know, we women have so many excuses. We can tell you it's that time of the month, and you can do nothing about it. And we can tell you we have a headache, you know, the universally popular excuse. We can say that, you know, we're not, it's very difficult. And I can take a break, saying maternity, and I can stay at home for 6 months, 1 year. And my poor husband can't do that. You know, science hasn't evolved that much yet. So it's going to be difficult. The fact is that in the workplace, this itself is actually a big barrier. There are so many times when men feel that this over, you know, focus, this very celebration of International Women's Day, all of this is, you know, hyping up something which probably can be dealt with in a very nice, very different way. In fact, I was at another event 2-3 days back, and the CEO of that company said, "Why are you women talking about gender parity? You are so much superior to us. Do you want to come down to our levels and talk about gender parity?" You know, so this kind of, you know, talk is there in the workplace because of too much of emphasis on the whole thing of, you know, mother, the woman doing the whole childbearing, child rearing thing, which absolutely is critical and important. And nobody can deny that. And nobody can deny the fact that a woman who takes a break on the altar of motherhood or maternity does it for all the right reasons. But the fact is that there are two components in the workplace, and maybe a third, you know, if we start looking at the increased numbers of transgenders who are coming into the workplace, and this gender intelligence becomes very critical. Just to read out a very clear definition of it, because I don't want to say something which it is not. Gender intelligence is an understanding of and appreciation for the naturally occurring characteristics that distinguish men and women beyond the obvious biological and cultural factors to include attitudinal and behavioral differences. This is what is gender intelligence, where you have to speak English. You switch to English. And then you come back home and you're talking to your mother or grandmother, you automatically switch into Tamil or Hindi or Malayalam or Telugu or whatever is your mother tongue. And what you're essentially doing is that you know that you have to do that code switching, which is you have to start talking in a language that the other person understands. Gender bilingualism is that. That is what is also, you know, called being gender intelligent, which is that how do you speak to someone, you know, so that you get accepted by them, so that you demonstrate empathy, so that you demonstrate inclusiveness. And I'm going to give you very quickly 2 examples. The first example is Indra Nooyi. And we all know who Indra Nooyi is, no need for any introduction of any kind. When she first went to the US and she started working in American organizations, she learned, and she's a thorough Chennai girl, as you all must know, and you know, she went there and she learned the sport of American baseball. And she learned it so well that when she would attend meetings, she would stump the men, the white American men, by her intricate and intimate knowledge of how the whole baseball, you know, scene was. It's like how, you know, we all speak about T20 and, you know, Chennai Super Kings and all of that stuff, whoever does, you know, in the same way, she would do that. And the folks would get amazed because with that one stroke, she was accepted. She became part of the boys. Okay? That is an example of gender bilingualism. Similarly, K.V. Kamath of ICICI Bank. Now, you know, the one claim to fame that K.V. Kamath has is that under his tenure, he has produced the maximum number of women CEOs of this country, of banks. You take any bank, at least 4 banks, all the women, including the latest CEO, Zareen, of Standard Chartered Bank, they have all been ex-ICICI women, especially women who have worked under K.V. Kamath. It is said that K.V. Kamath did not speak about gender diversity. He did not speak about gender inclusive policies. He was just gender bilingual. He would understand that women needed extra support. It's like the fox and the crane story, you know. If you invite the fox and the fox invited the crane for lunch or dinner and then gave him a bowl of soup, saying that is equality. And how can the crane drink it? That is the kind of differences that are there in the workplace which require gender parity. And this aspect of gender intelligence requires just 3 points, which I'm sure you will all practice in your lives. Communicating more effectively, understanding that women are very different from men. Great minds do not think alike. Great minds think unalike is what you should understand, that we all don't have the same way of speaking or thinking. Generous listening, being really generous listeners, giving your time to listen to the other people, and being very inclusive of differences. So that is what, in a nutshell, gender intelligence is. It's an ocean. And when I was hearing you speak about vulnerability, Rekha, I was reminded of this wonderful YouTube video. Those of you who are interested in it should watch it. It's by a lady called Brené Brown, and she speaks about the power of vulnerability. It's just amazing. It's a fantastic video. She has done her PhD in vulnerability. Can you imagine? So, you can really look at it for multiple views and being inspired. So with that, let me wish you a very, very happy International Women's Day. And may you all rise to the fullest of your potential. Thank you. Bye.